Hello YouTube, welcome back to RVDaydream, and we've got a bike rack that might be one of the best price points that I've seen on a bike rack. And why would you be concerned about buying a bike rack and how expensive it is and what's required? Well, it's because if you don't know, electric bikes, e-bikes weigh a lot, and you can't just go to Walmart and buy a rack and expect it to last. And you definitely need one that's going onto a hitch, and you got to make sure that the hitch on your bumper of your RV can handle the weight. This one is weight rated for e-bikes. So let's go ahead and get into this right after the intro.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
The company is CRAVOT, C-R-A-V-O-T. Maybe it's CRAVOT, maybe it's CRAVOT, maybe it's CRAVOT. Nonetheless, they've got this CyberRack E2 Plus, and this is the top of the line that they offer. And at time of filming, I know retail on this hovers right around $400. Now, before you disconnect, before you fast forward, before you go on to the next video or whatever, realize that we have done some videos on bike racks in the past, and it's tough to find a bike rack that is E-rated and actually costs not that much. And what I mean is they can get up to $800, $900 really fast. But you have to pay that extra to get something that's rated for an e-bike. You know, e-bikes range anywhere from 50 pounds, that's definitely on the light side of things, definitely on the light side of things, up to 125 pounds for the heavier ones. And this will handle up to a 50-inch wheelbase. That's the other thing. A lot of these bike racks, they don't really handle a lot of length, you know, for a basic bike, because these e-bikes are usually stretched out a little longer. So we're gonna get this out of the box. I'm going to open this up, talk about it. Again, 200-pound rating, that's 100-pound per bike. This has some features that's really nice. One of them, it does fold up out of the way relatively easy. And yeah, well, let's take a look and see what we got in here. These bike racks, you can expect to have to do some assembly to put them together. It just wouldn't be feasible for them to ship it, even in a partially assembled state, because they're so long, they're so wide to cover, again, that 50-inch wheel. So we've got some hoops that we have to put on, you know, for the tires to sit in. And of course, we got to put the system all together. Now, I'm not going to do a step-by-step assembly. That is covered in the manual. Just go through the manual, follow the steps. It's pretty straightforward. And most likely, if you had an e-bike or electric bike, you've already assembled something that would require the same kind of abilities as would putting this rack together. So let me get it together. If there's anything that stands out from the manual that's out of the ordinary, or you might have to pay a little bit closer attention to, I will bring that up. But this is what it looks like packaging. Everything looks pretty good. This came FedEx. The box was beat up pretty good during transport, like FedEx has a tendency to do. And yet I don't see any damage whatsoever thanks to their superior packaging. So again, put it together. Oh, it is a heavy box, by the way. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. Let's see. Yeah, the box, you're talking about 78 pounds for this box. So don't think that you're going to just be handed this off on your front porch, and make sure you get it delivered close to your garage if you're going to be assembling it out there. That's what I did in this case. And as far as the rack itself, once it's done, I think it's about 66 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood, of what you're actually going to put on the back of your truck or car or SUV or van or RV or even RV trailer. So you're going to be into 270 pounds that's on your hitch or the bumper of your RV. So make sure you can do that. So I like to show you what it looks like whenever it is all out of the box. This is a relatively heavy piece here, as is this. And you could expect that because it's holding the majority of the weight to the hitch itself, as this what slides into your hitch. It does have a locking mechanism, you can see here. That's also an anti-rattle. It's got a key. And the reason I know it's anti-rattle is it's got a thread on there, as a thread here, which will tighten it inside your hitch. So it's just not a pin going through. It's got a bolt that actually tightens up and keeps this from moving around. And you know how that is when you're towing stuff, that bouncing around kind of stinks. It's making all that noise. Those two hoops back there for the tires, those are aluminum, so they're lightweight. This looks to be possibly the ramp. There is a ramp to help you get these things loaded, which is awesome. And then of course, these pieces here, they're aluminum, and these are the hold downs and basically the wheel chocks for the tires. And then you have your crossbar mounts or your seat mounts to hold, you know, everything down. Some of them mount to the seat, some of them mount to the handlebars, and a crossbar, I should say, and we'll see which this one does. I'm not sure at this point because I haven't got it together. It does show you that you don't need a workstation like I've got going on here using the tailgate of my truck and the bed of my truck. Instead, you can put this in the hitch of your vehicle. I just prefer to be standing upright whenever I'm assembling it, and then I'll slide it into the hitch. Whereas if you have an SUV and you have a comfortable area to maybe a work stool or something you can sit on, you can assemble this in the back of your vehicle. But I mainly wanted to show you that you're only talking one main bolt. I'm assuming this has something to do with the pivot mechanism, how it connects possibly to the main bracket. And then you have these 4 bolts, which I'm assuming are probably going to hold on some of these pieces here. And then you have 2 carriage bolts and then 8. These are nice bolts. You can see they've got them coated with something. I'm not going to say they're anodized, but they are coated all the way around. One of the easiest manuals that I've ever read, and they made it easy on a lot of levels. For example, these bolts that hold the hoops in, they already have the washers and the lock washers pre-assembled, so you don't have another bag of parts that you have to deal with. Whenever you're tightening this stuff down, you don't have to go for world's strongest man's competition or strongest woman's competition. Just make sure that you snug them down. These are all nylock nuts, so they should hold position once they're tightened, except for, of course, they have lock washers. And as far as putting it together, like I said, it was very straightforward and it was very easy. You have a lot of straps here. You got a lot of hold down stuff going on. And it's pretty self-explanatory once it's all together. These are the bars that will hold the bike to the mechanism, which we'll see here in a second. And make sure that whenever you assemble this, that you realize that this piece here, it's correct. A lot of people, when they first get it, they go, wait a minute, when I put the tire there, it's going to make it to where it hits this and all that. No, because your tire will be on the other side of this. Your tire will be on this side. The wheel chock goes up against and pushes it outwards. So don't think it's the other way around. And then of course, this is kind of self-explanatory. You can just see where the tire drops in. And depending on your bike, you know, if you have a fat tire bike, you know, no big deal. If you have a skinny, bike, just pay attention to your wheels and your tires and how they're going in there, and try to position them up against this wheel chock as tight as possible. And then you'll just use this and of course the strap to keep it in place. Okay, so what you're seeing here is in the storage mode, I guess you can call it. And this is the way it's going to look whenever you go down the road, all except for one thing, and that is they're going to give you some bungee cords. And these bungee cords, I shouldn't say that, when I say bungee, they do have a cam buckle on them. And what you're going to do with that is use these to secure anything that might be loose. So what you would do is you would run this strap, around this and maybe up through here to keep it from doing just that. You want these to move, obviously, and I'll show you why. But in the meantime, to keep them steady, you want to do this. Now, there is a way to do that, and I'm going to show you a little cheat way of doing it without it. And what you do is you just loosen this. Again, this will become apparent after the fact. And if you do, you can slide it down and tighten it like this, and now that won't move any longer. So it's just a matter of keeping it from moving the way that you want. Okay, when I pull this handle it's going to allow this piece to come down. This is my favorite part. It has a locking mechanism that don't let you pull the handle up. You pull the knob out, quarter turn it, and now it releases the lock, and it gives you a nice handle to grab and lower it. Once it's so far, I put my hand this way. Now, once you have it like this though, it will go past center, just so you know, all the way to the ground. So if you need to be able to lift your hatch of your vehicle and the bike's just barely, you know, don't clear, this will allow you to pivot them out of the way while they're still secured on the rack. Another nice feature. But we're going to go to the the locking position, which is right there. Once that is locked into position, you then quarter turn the safety. Now, with these in place, I haven't done this yet. This is my first time doing this. I'm going to load two different bikes. I have a skinny tire 27-inch bike, and then I have a fat tire non-folding bike that is a step through, and we're going to see what it's like to put them up real time. So this is all first time. Now, I could lift these no problem, but I wanted to show you. Here's all it is right here. Look at this. This is a folding piece here. Not a big deal, right? You can undo this, and it gives you a ramp to put the bikes up on more easily. Again, this is the first time that I've done this, and this is the heavier bike also. So I'll go a little past. This is kind of the way I used to load them up inside of the in the back of the truck. All right, down in the tire holder. And then this is the hold down for that one. As far as the seat or crossbar. And that's the cool thing about these. It's a seat or a crossbar. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on and get it kind of close. In the meantime, I'm gonna pull this strap out. We're gonna move this wheel chock back and put this through and find an area that's nice and tight for it. That looks pretty good right there. Again, this is all real time. Never have done this before. There's that. Now, just to let you know, I do not have the rack secured in the hitch all the way. I didn't put the locking pin all the way in. I just put it partially. Again, we'll put this through an area that makes sense. And this cam buckle on the back side is very friendly to insert the strap, which is really nice. There we go. That was a warning tag that was on there. Okay, so I think this is where it really shines, that this piece can go on a crossbar, or you can use it for the seat post. And you don't even have to use it high on the seat post. You can actually put it low on the seat post. I'm gonna do high because it helps with leverage, obviously. Go ahead and get this strap around. Go ahead and get this up here. Nice, right? Right? I mean, this is pretty good. We'll go ahead and snug this up a little bit. Not all the way, just a little. And then I'm gonna put this through. I love these straps. They work really, really well. Go ahead and move this rubber around so I can get a little bit more tension on it. Look at that. That is so cool. And then we'll give this a couple snug turns, get it tighter. And there you go. Look at that locked up on there. But this is secure. And actually, I could do some more with the securement down on the straps on the tires. But man, I can't believe how nice that was. And that's the first time, guys. I've never done this before on this rack at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the next one. And this bike's completely different than that one in that it looks like more of a traditional bike. And I will use the ramp in this case because I have a feeling a lot of you will probably be using the ramp, right? Lean it towards you just a little bit. Make sure the handlebars clear the other bike. And they'll find their place just like that. That lower wheel chock, I was off. I thought I had it dead on, but I didn't. All right, so that's there. Let's go ahead and run this strap around. What I want you to take note of is that a lot of this adjustment that I'm doing is because there's so much adjustability available, because this is a skinny tired bike, completely different than the one that we just put on here. And yet it has the adjustment ability to fit. So we'll go ahead and put this on here, push the cam buckle. Look at this, it even turns just slightly. Put this back through the cam buckle and snug it up. And all these pieces, just to let you know, this is a real soft rubber. So I'll get you a little bit closer here in just a second as soon as I get this secured down. So here we are, all set up. And again, it's still not connected tightly to the hitch down there. I just have the pin sort of in there, but you can see even with that not tight that this is pretty darn secure. I'm moving this around a lot, and if I was to tighten that bolt to snug all that up, you're really going to see a solid looking bike rack. The thing about this one is the ease of assembly is top notch, one of the best. And the price point on this, I mean, like I said, at time of filming, I think we're around $400. And if there's any discounts, there's going to be links down in the description. Something like this just a few years ago would have cost $1,000. The price point started coming down. They were getting a little bit closer to where they were selling them in the neighborhood of $800. But still, that's a large chunk of money whenever you're putting down, you know, a decent amount for your bikes in the first place. However, you want a good rack. You want something rated to be able to haul your bikes, especially when the bikes are running anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a piece or more. I love the idea that you can mount and secure your bikes in different ways. The ones that I've had in the past, which are good in their own sense, they have a hoop on them that you push down and it latches and holds it in place that way. This one here makes it to where you know, you can turn it in any angle. Do you see this one, how it's leaning? It's by design. It could be that I wanted to connect this to this part of the bike, right? And that would make it to where this bar, the up and down bar that I'm pointing at, it would be leaning back then, but it would still secure it. And it's all part of the design. So what do you guys think about this? Put it down in the comments what you think about having a double bike carrier. I think that this is something that would be very nice to have whenever you're constantly needing to keep it on your vehicle, but not wanting to disassemble it and take it off. This would allow you to keep it on because it does fold up and away, as you've seen at the beginning. I like this. You can see the spacing. We'll go ahead and do that so you can see how far back it is. Not crazy, right? Maybe put some reflectors on your bike rack somewhere, although the bikes already have reflectors, just for people that like to get a little close. Hope this helped out. And as always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Bye.